Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Apologies if I'm looking very tired and very rough. It's been a bit of a mad couple of days and I'm lacking some major sleep. But tonight it's finally worked out that I can actually do a beer review. So this is what we're doing. We are heading off over to that machine over there, the Perfect Draft Pro. Let me just turn you over. That one right in the corner there. That one there. There we go. And we've got a keg in there that was released, I think, about 3 weeks ago now. And I'm finally getting around to doing it. And it was Anosteke Blonde. And it's a French blonde ale coming in at 7.5% ABV in a 6 litre keg. Now, on its own, this costs £43.50. No, £43.90, sorry. So it's not a cheap keg. Are any of the kegs cheap these days? No, not really. But when you start getting to them bigger ABVs, they do tend to be more expensive. But if I am correct, there was possibly 5% off this keg to start off with. But I bought it on a deal. And the deal was, if you buy 3 kegs, you get 20% off, or if you buy 6, you get 25% off. I bought 3 kegs and got 20% off. So I possibly got 25% off this keg, but I definitely at least got 20% off it. So that £43.90 then come down to 20%, £4.30, £4.40. I got £8.80 off the keg, so that's bringing it down to about £35. Plus you're going to get your tokens in your actual purchase and a £5 back. So it's coming in at about 30 quid, just under maybe, for this keg. So hopefully it's going to be decent. I know a couple of people out there have reviewed it, but I've not tried to watch them. Basically, because I knew I was going to get it at some point, and I don't want to listen to what people say. I know Simo done it literally just a few days ago. So we are going to take a look at it now. I don't have one of their glasses. So being a blonde ale, I'm going to put it in a left glass, a pint left glass. 7.5%, like I said, and on the app it is saying serve at 4 degrees. Now for me, seems a little bit low. The beer was in the fridge for a couple of days actually, which is set at 4 degrees, so the beer would have been that. I did set the machine at 4. It did go down to that, and then I decided I was going to change it because by the time I do the review, it was going to be, it's probably still going to be 4 degrees, whatever. But I changed it to 6 degrees. Currently the machine is saying 5, so it could possibly be at 5 degrees of beer. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. It's going to be at somewhere between 4 and 5 degrees by the time I do this review. Right, I'm going to stop waffling. I'm not going to do a video of the pour. I've had nothing out of it yet, so I'm expecting a massive head on this beer. So I'm going to pause the video in a minute. We're going to do a pour, come back and crack on with the review. So see you in a ticky. Right, we're back, and actually I'm quite surprised. The pour was quite good, but to be fair, these left glasses spread that head out, so you don't tend to get anything too massive whenever you pour a beer in this glass. But also the style of the beer may well help. So we're looking at the beer now. There we go. It does look very nice indeed. It's very pale. The glass is nucleated. There is some carbonation going up, but I'm not going to say there's a massive amount. A slight haze, golden straw kind of looking beer. We've got a lovely compact finger of white head. Now bear in mind this is a big wide glass, so if you pour that in something like a standard sort of pint glass, you'd probably have 2 fingers ahead. But yeah, in general the beer looks very nice indeed. I don't know where the brewery are from. I haven't looked that much up. So let's just dive in with the nostrils and see what we get off this little thing. And if I'm honest, not a lot. Maybe it's a little bit cold. I am not getting a massive amount there. Fruity floral notes. It smells kind of light. I'm not really getting that yeasty side that I would expect from maybe a blonde ale, so certainly from that sort of area of the world. It's smelling, what I am getting off it, a little bit saison like, but without that yeasty side. So yeah, I'm not picking a lot up, but I'm going to stop waffling. Anosteke Is it Anosteke? Anosteke. I'm going to have to check on that again. Anosteke Blonde, French Blonde Ale, 7.5%. Let's dive in and give it a go. Cheers. First impressions, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Body of the beer feels a little bit light. It is almost drinking more like a saison for me, rather than a 7.5% blonde ale. That said, it's not wishy-washy or watery, but it does just feel a little bit light. There is a stickiness in the mouth as you drink it. For me, the carbonation is pretty much non-existent. It does feel a little bit lifeless. Which is a little bit of a worrying sign. And almost lifeless to the point that it seems flat a little bit. But it has got a nice smoothness about it. It will drink well, obviously with that lack of fizz, if you like, but I would like to see a little bit more in there. On the taste, a little bit fruity, a little bit floral. There's a sweetness in there. Back end with a hoppy bitterness. I'm going to go back to that sweetness in a minute because I'm not sure if I'm getting a very light sort of caramel note. It's a little bit odd. You sort of get a little bit of a tickle of a caramel sweetness with a bitterness that glides alongside of it. So it sort of contradicts itself as you're drinking it. Maybe a little bit of a honey feel in there as well, but subtle. It sort of feels like it's there, but not full on. Orange lemon notes. Orange would be more subtle. Lemon lime for me are the sort of maybe a little bit sort of bigger notes in there. Probably the more you drink, the more your palate will adjust and you'll start picking these things up. I mean, there's certainly more evolving from it as the more you drink. But, I mean, I don't know, it just feels like it's lacking something. It's lacking something, maybe a little bit in body. It feels like it's maybe lacking a little bit of extra flavour somewhere. It's not, I don't want to say it's awful or shit, but it just feels like it's missing something. So, I mean, I've got St Fulian in the shed, so I may well review that again. It'll be interesting if I can think of what this is like. There's to me, from what I remember, there's maybe little traits of sort of St Fulian in this one, because I'm certain St Fulian's a little bit sort of lighter, but has the sort of bits that this is missing. So it'll be interesting when I do drink that one. But it's a tough. I've got to say, it feels a little bit disappointing at the moment. Now, maybe I will come back and actually do another review of this. Maybe change the temperature on it, get the temp a little bit higher, because, like I said, this has gone to 5. Is the beer actually at 5, or is it still at sort of 4 because it was in the fridge for a couple of days at 4 degrees? So has the beer actually really changed? But it just sort of lacks a bit. Maybe it just feels like a typical sort of French blonde ale. And to me, like I say, I'm not a big fan of French beers, but they do seem to sort of, they're never quite as good as sort of like Belgian blonde ale. So yeah, I would say a little bit disappointing at the moment, but I will try it at different temperatures and we'll see what that feels like. But at the moment, it feels a little bit disappointing. And when you start looking at the price tag at £43.90, that would put me off straight away. The only downside is really with left now changing, it sort of puts you in a position that you either go sort of expensive or you go for the cheaper left. For me, the left isn't a patch on what it was, but if you are going to go higher, I probably would say opt for the St Fulian, but it's worth a try. It's worth a try. It might, I'm not going to, after the first glass, I'd probably say I might struggle with it. I might find it a bit boring, but we'll see how it goes. So 7.5% isn't really anywhere there. If somebody told you that was 6%, you wouldn't argue with it. So the ABV is quite well hidden. But for me, Anosteke Blonde or Anosteke Blonde is a little bit disappointing. It's not maybe as good as I was hoping for, but they're my thoughts on this beer. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.